Are you struggling to learn how to play piano? Do you want to play piano? In this video, I'm going to show you how to do it in 10 minutes. I kid you not, in 10 minutes flat, I'm going to show you how to play piano. This tutorial is for anybody. If you know zero knowledge, this is going to teach you some basic tips and tricks to getting started playing the piano right away. Let's dive in. We're going to take this song, Lord, I Need You by Matt Maher. It's a very famous song. A lot of people know it. We're going to take that song and we're going to start learning it. Now, the first thing you need to do is understand you need to play the first note and the fifth note with your right hand. The first note and the fifth note with your right hand. So in this case, the first note is going to be D, and the second note is going to be A. D and A. So you're going to take your right hand and you're going to play D and A with your right hand on the piano. D and the A are the only keys you're going to play in the right hand for the whole song, because if you don't, you're not going to make the other notes sound really good. Just play that in the right hand. Next, you got to play your left hand. How do you do that? Well, every note on the piano has a name, and the names are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That's it. If they're black keys, they have two names, and the two names are sharp and flat. So if you go up, it's a sharp. So C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B back to C. If you go the other way, it's C, B, B flat, A flat, and so on. All right? So you don't have to memorize all those notes, but just know if there's a sharp, you go up right to the black note, and if there's a flat, you go down left. Now, when you see notes on the piano, you're going to want to play them with your left hand. You're going to play an octave. What's an octave? It means you're playing the exact same note with two fingers, but a whole octave apart. It's about 8 notes apart. So when you play a C octave is going to play C with your thumb, and then C again down lower with your pinky. That's an octave. C and C. It goes for all the different notes, like C, B, A, G. You get the point. So that's an octave. We're going to octave all the notes on the chord sheet. Now, what's a chord sheet? A chord sheet is how the song is laid out so you can play chord names on the piano. All we're going to focus on is the letters. So when you see a G, you're going to play a G octave in your left hand. When you see a D, you're going to play a D octave in your left hand when the words come up. So I'm going to demonstrate this. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. All right, did you see what happened there? Basically what I did was I only played D and A in my right hand, and I played the octaves in my left hand, and I only played the note letters when they came up to the words on the chord sheet. That's how to play piano in 10 minutes. And then you just rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. So you're like, hey, that's great, Jonathan, but how do I know the 1-5 notes for different songs? And aren't there going to be different 1-5 notes than just D and A? The answer is yes. And that's where you move on to this idea of a key. A key of a song is what notes you're going to play in the song. So what notes do you play in a song? Let's take another song like Good, Good Father by Chris Tomlin, another very famous song. A lot of people know it. This song has different letters than the Lord I Need You song has. So how do you fix that? How do you change that? What do you do? Well, you take the song, and usually the song will have the key on it. It'll say key of G. Well, then you know when the key says key of G, G is going to be the first note. The first note. And I can tell you right now, the fifth note is going to be D. How did I figure that out? Well, the key of a song is based on a scale. A scale is a very, very simple way to know what notes to play for each song. Each song is written in a scale. There's only 7 notes in each major scale, and a scale has a recipe. So if you think of scale as a cake, the recipe for that cake is going to be whole steps and half steps. If you know whole steps and half steps, then you can follow the recipe. So what is a whole step and a half step? A whole step means you go up 2 notes. A half step means you go up to the next note. Does that make sense? So you skip a note for a whole step, you go to the next note for a half step. Now, if we need to get to the recipe for each scale, because each scale is a key, right? And every song has a key. This recipe for the major scale goes like this. So the recipe is 2 whole steps, 1 half step, 3 whole steps, 1 half step. So this is what it looks like for the C note. So we'd have 2 whole steps, 1, 2, a half step. Then we'd have 3 whole steps, 1, 2, 3, and a half step. Let's do that one more time. Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. With that in mind, you can apply that recipe to any note on the piano. Pick a random one. Pick a random one like G. G, our major recipe will be this. So we take G, if we know this is C, so C, D, E, F, G, and it's the same recipe. 2 whole steps, 1 half step, 3 whole steps, 1 half step. So this is G, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Now that you understand what the recipe is for a scale, each scale represents the key of the song. So in our case, Good Good Father is in the key of G. So our scale has G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. So how do we know which note is which? Well, if you relabel each note with numbers, so G would be 1, A would be 2, etc. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we've got our 1 and 5. Done. G and D is our 1 and 5. So now you know what you're going to play in the right hand, and then you just got to play the letters in your left hand when you octaves. Do you see the pattern here? That's probably a lot of information for you. Go back and rewatch this video if you're still confused, and ask me questions in the comments on how to do something, and I'll let you know. That's how to play piano in 10 minutes, folks. It's not that hard. It's very easy to do. It will get you started. You can play pretty much any song. If you've got the chord sheet, you can Google chord sheets online to your favorite song. You'll probably find it. Figure out the key of that song. Most of them are in major. If they're in minor, then that's a little bit different. That's okay. If you struggle with things like that, or you're trying to take it to the next step, let me know in the comments. I can help you out there. Like this video, subscribe. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much. You take care. I'll see you in the next video. You're awesome.